Oh my gosh, Isabela, Rhenzy, and Sophie, welcome to the first ever IMDb Stars to Watch Roundtable. Give yourself a little cute round of applause right quick. We're gonna get into all the amazing things that you're doing right now, but I kind of want to take it back a little bit to the beginning, all right? Sophie made a little noise here like, all right? I love an active listener.
IMDb knows. IMDb knows everything.
Okay. I'm just curious, when did you first fall in love with the art of acting?
I mean, I can't even think back to it. I've just been acting since as long as I can remember. I was a munchkin in Wizard of Oz.
Stop it right now.
Twin. So I've just been doing it forever.
That's so cool.
That's amazing because my first ever audition, first ever thing was for the Wizard of Oz at the
Really?
local community theater center. And I loved Wizard of Oz. It was my favorite movie, that and Sound of Music. And I auditioned, and you know how they had the three lists of okay, what's your ideal role that you want to play? And I put Dorothy, and they're like, if not that, what's your second role? I put Dorothy. Third one, I put Dorothy. But I ended up playing a munchkin. But that was...
Wait,
Yes.
Stop.
Yes,
Okay.
I was one of the mayor's munchkins.
How old are you?
I was like 6.
How do
Your
you
memory is
remember
amazing.
that?
Because when I walked on the stage, it was like, I remember that whole moment. It was like in the movies.
Yeah.
I remember peeking out from behind the set, seeing all the people, and just getting really excited. And then I would go on stage. I just remember that experience so vividly, and I have a terrible memory. It's very selective.
so
That's
cool.
so
That's
cool.
insane.
That's
That's awesome.
Rhenzy, also a munchkin? Or
I have my own Wizard of Oz story. I feel like I started super late getting into the acting thing, and I think I've always loved the idea of performing, and kind of whenever we'd have family parties, I'd be the kid getting up, doing the, karaoke or Michael Jackson dances or whatever. I would learn the music videos and then do them. And so I've always loved the idea of performing, but I've always been afraid of, I played sports growing up and stuff, and I think I was scared, if I'm being honest, about what my peers would say about me jumping over from sports to, theater. And I think I was scared, and I think finally I kind of took a leap of faith, because I think I wanted to do this thing so bad when I was 17. And I joined the school play, and that spring we did The Wizard of Oz. And so it's actually funny enough that we bring it up.
IMDb knows.
Yeah, it knows all.
I'm
That's
scared.
wild.
And,
That's a great
and I never
story.
felt like I was great at the singing thing, and so I was super afraid of it, but they ended up giving me Scarecrow, and so I had to kind of figure it out.
You got the best.
Okay.
No, I was
Are we
like,
all
this is
theater kids
crazy.
then? Have we established
Oh, we're all
this?
theater
Yeah,
kids.
basically.
I love
I
that.
finally am open
Yes.
about it because I was hiding it.
It's hard. I was in the
this is a
closet
safe
for a while.
space.
It's a
too.
safe
Theater kids, let it
space.
out.
I'm now
Anyways.
I can be open about loving Sondheim.
Yes!
And Wicked, hello.
And Wicked.
Hello.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
I saw that 5 times when I was a kid. It was my favorite.
Great musical.
Switching gears to movies a little bit, who was that artist maybe that you saw on screen that you were so inspired by and you were like, wow, they are giving me the acting bug right now?
I watched Claire Danes in My So-Called Life. If you guys have ever seen that. I wanted to be her so bad. I would go on IMDb and go on the I would say all of her lines from IMDb, her famous quotes, and would rehearse them in the mirror. So I was an IMDb kid.
Okay,
I was trivia, everything. But yeah, I think Claire Danes was just my biggest inspiration as a kid.
That's so cool.
I was always on IMDb.
Right.
Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music. Yeah, I think she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I feel like early on, it was Will Smith to me was my favorite when I was a kid, just watching Fresh Prince. And then I remember feeling a real special kind of way when I saw The Pursuit of Happiness. I was young at the time, but it was it made me feel a lot of feelings. And I think that that's sometimes the power that that kind of exists in our medium, is to be able to give this sort of this thing that maybe we can't get any other way, this sort of feeling of. And at that time, it was just, I don't even know how to describe it. I think I was so young that I didn't know what exactly was going on, but I remember being wow. I saw him in a sitcom because I was watching the reruns all the time, and then to see him kind of doing that, it was just kind of eye-opening for me, and I remember kind of being attracted to it.
I'm curious, what was that first big credit in your career, maybe on your page or anything, that you were like, wow, this is incredible. This is my first credit that could be on my page that I could talk about, things like that.
For me, it was, I did Chicago Med and played a homeless teenager and had one line. But that, Chicago Med is the Law and Order of Chicago. Dick Wolf.
Yeah.
Right.
And I played a victim, but to see, I'd been on IMDb stalking everybody for years, going on every list.
Yeah.
So to see myself just on IMDb was very amazing.
The first one that I was like, oh, this is gaining a lot of traction, I guess, because you guys have the star meter.
Yes.
My mom pointed it out to me because she's the one who's always on IMDb. My mom's such an IMDb head. She actually knows the password. I don't, so I've never actually been able to log into my own IMDb.
That's so funny.
I would love to know how to.
We're gonna work on that.
Okay. And so she sent me like the star meter thing, and it was up, and it was because of Dora. So that was pretty cool.
My mom's also the one who set up the IMDb account, so I do know the password now, but there was like a few.
Do we all have
year-long...
like semi-momenters?
Yeah, right.
Too?
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's great.
I was honestly, I love that you said that because the trivia stuff. I would scour
Always
the
the
trivia,
trivia.
and I would just
Yeah.
learn so much about my favorite.
I know.
And the quotes too. So yeah, to finally have a credit on there, my first one was a show called Casual on Hulu, and it was really exciting because it was a show that I was a fan of before I went on audition, and I think it was kind of overkill because I didn't know the show when I got the audition, and then I went and watched like the first couple episodes just to kind of prepare or whatever, and then I realized that I loved it, and I watched the entire season maybe 4 times before I went actually in for like the audition. I just watched it over and over and over and over again. Thankfully, I had like 4 or 5 days, which you almost never have when you're first starting out. Audition, like time to audition, and yeah, I got that part. I got tapped heart lead on that thing. I remember that was a big deal that they didn't want to do that, and so just getting to kind of have something on the page was a big deal to me, and I was really excited.
That is so dope. Shout out to the moms, just really quickly, for making those IMDb pages. It takes a village, okay?
It takes a damn
That's what it's
village.
about.
Yes.
All right, so you have an amazing page, maybe. You're building the credits, and you spoke about this a little bit, auditioning. What is one of your most memorable auditions?
I mean, for Alien Romulus, I like to self-drive. I just drove here too in these heels.
Yes? Okay, shoe cam really quickly.
Shoe cam.
Period.
I'm 5 foot, 1 3/4.
Love.
No, I like to self-drive, and sometimes I forget to eat when I'm really nervous for an audition. And so I was like, oh, shoot, I have to eat. So I went to Panda Express, which is right on the corner from my house, and I'm over here, like, trying to go through the lines, got the meal on my lap, and then, like, driving somewhat with my niece so I could pick up the food with the fork. Terrible. I'm never doing that again. I don't do that ever anymore. Because I ended up spilling it all over myself.
No.
And I smelled like Panda Express for the callback.
That's all right. And you got the role.
Apparently it worked.
I used a BB gun for my audition for Prospect, and it was just this green BB gun. It looks so lame. Because I was like, I didn't want to just be like, pew, pew. I was like, I gotta hold something. So rewatching it, I was like, ugh, not a good look.
Yeah.
But
Oh, do you rewatch your self-tapes?
That's
when I'm in dark places.
Right, okay. I've learned something, which is to go and make plans immediately after, so that not only are you restricted with time,
no, I will
but
watch it
also
so many
I will
times and
like go
obsess.
down that rabbit
And be
hole
like,
where
no, I
you
could've done
rewatch
that,
it
I
and
could've done
rewatch
that.
it, and yeah.
I can't rewatch. I'll go back and
Yeah.
watch them like a year after I did them, and then I'll be able to like go. All right, I could see
yeah.
this
Now
moment,
I
this
know I
moment.
didn't get that.
Right, yeah. But I almost hate watching them right after I'm done doing them. Hate it.
Sophie, I got to give a shout out to Yellowjackets. By the way, you are incredible
Thank
in
you.
that show. Heard that you did a self-tape for that.
It was a self-tape.
Yeah.
It was weird. I was going through a phase with self-tapes where I wouldn't memorize, and I would just read off the computer. I've been talking to people where, do you have the teleprompter app?
I did that, and it just I wouldn't book.
I booked it because I think it was just loose.
Yeah.
I had like the leather jacket, I had the mullet. I think they were just like, oh, that's Natalie.
Right.
But I need to start memorizing again. I shouldn't be saying that. Because you can kind of tell, but there's an
Yeah.
art to reading on your computer, and it's like you're talking to your scene partner, but you're actually reading it.
Yeah.
It's very specific.
But you had like a ton of lines for Heretic, right? You
Oh,
had,
yeah,
it was just talking the whole movie, which I love. I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss that in film. But
Yeah.
how was that memorizing? Because I kind of suck at memorizing lines too, which is part of like pretty much the only requirement.
Bad memory. It's okay.
I have so my brain is
I definitely
everywhere.
over memorize to the point where it just has to feel in my body.
Yeah.
Especially for monologues like that. You can't go and be like thinking on the tip of your tongue.
Right.
Or just you can't be as present. But it really depends on what movie you're doing. 'Cause
Right.
sometimes it's open to improv or something. But Heretic was like, I had to have it in my sleep.
My mother was a convert, so when my dad passed away, we auditioned a few different churches just to see what was out there and see if we still believed in it.
But also, I think the way they wrote it was super conversational, and it was very
Absolutely,
when it's written in a way that's normal. I think it's easier to memorize.
Yep.
So Sometimes it's not my fault.
Rhenzy, I am curious. First of all, again, shout out to you in The Penguin, my man. When you auditioned for that, you know, you're bringing to life a character that's not really in the comic books, more into the lore of the Batman cinematic universe. Yeah. Because of that, did you have more space to develop the character?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had, I think there's a lot of freedom to it because there's no, there's no boundaries, there's no, IP to go off of. It's just we were creating this thing from the kind of the ground up, or Lauren did, and so kind of getting to work with her and getting to work with Craig Zobel, who directed the episodes, the first 3 as well, and kind of create this thing and craft this kid who's kind of innocent. There was a lot of freedom. There was a lot of conversations that we had that kind of were really collaborative in spirit, and it really kind of opened my eyes to how much there is to play with. It was the first time that I'd ever had to do something. Like kind of messing with like a dialect. Victor has a stutter in the show, and we kind of treated that like if it was a dialect,
I've never done anything like this.
The way we approached it was just, getting natural with it, getting organic with it, and kind of growing that out and figuring out what that meant. And then me and Mark Winsky, who was my fluency consultant, I think is a technical term, but basically he helped me with everything as far as it came to stuttering. And then, figuring out what that meant and then bringing it to the team. So there was a lot of freedom, definitely.
I love that scene where you're in the restaurant and it's like your first time being in a fancy place.
Right.
And then you're stuttering to order.
Yeah.
And then he's like, let him order. Like,
right,
that was
yeah.
so cute.
Steak
fried.
Hey, don't do that. The man was speaking. Let him finish.
And then, yeah, we all know
It's
how
interesting,
it
that scene, like Mark Winsky, who helped me tremendously, he also has a stutter. And I remember him telling me, he was behind camera that day at Video Village, and he said that he was getting emotional watching that scene because he knew what it would have meant to him having watched that as a kid, as a teenager, and what it means to the people around the world who have a stutter, getting to see sort of someone stand up for them, and not even need to stand up for them, but sort of saying to them in a way, you have space, you have agency, take up space. Don't be afraid to do that. And so that scene actually, I think is it's funny you bring that up because it meant a lot to him as well.
Yeah.
And to me.
Take up space. You got fight in you, Vic. You gotta let it out.
I want to have some fun, do a quick rapid fire round. This theme is being on set for the first time, hypothetically speaking. Who is an unsung hero on set, in your opinion?
PAs.
PAs?
Yeah, 100%.
I would say the costume department because they always bring the warming coats and the hot water bottles.
Hair and makeup, I mean, they feel like therapists sometimes. And they're really, I just had amazing experiences when you've had hard days and you can just talk to them. It like really centers you.
Right on. Who's a director that you want to work with? Don't think too hard about it. Go.
Guillermo del Toro.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yes.
Kelly Reichardt or Sean Baker.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, next rapid fire. What's one pointer you received that you'll never forget? Even if it's something as simple as learn where the crafty table is.
I always say this. J. Duplass told me not to give a and I've just held on to that because I was doing press with him for Prospect. And he's just so loose. And I try to follow that and like trust my instincts, but I thought that was simple, good advice.
Right on. No, that's incredible advice.
Back to that, Colin told me on this one, Colin Farrell told me on Penguin, he said, trust your instincts. There was something that I was kind of like debating about, and I kind of pulled him to the side, like, is this right? And he goes, dude, that is right. Tell them, trust your instincts, you're good. Like, just, it's fine. Your instincts are good.
My main goal is to always have fun. People sometimes take it too seriously. They get so stressed out, and then I need a cigarette. Like,
take a chill pill. You know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah. You have all been in incredible projects, obviously, and you're working so hard, and the fans love you everywhere. Do you feel like, just as artists, that you found your big break yet?
I don't even know what a big break is. Like, what is that?
Yeah. I don't know her.
I feel like I'll never really be satisfied, which is what is keeping me going and keeping that drive, because I'm always going to be searching for something different.
And I think it's a good thing. Like I've sort of come to terms with like the fact that that's okay. That's actually beneficial. It's like
negative.
Yeah. You get something to chase your whole life. Like I don't feel like I've had a big break. I still feel like I'm looking for whatever that. And am I even looking for it? I hope it almost. Not that I hope it never comes. I hope that I get, that I can become successful and be successful, but I also hope that I'm always feeling like there's something else to kind of chase. Because otherwise life can get, I think it would be boring if there was nothing else to kind of chasing after.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah, you already said it. Like, I don't know her. We're good on
It
that.
doesn't resonate with me or my spirit.
That's so real. And while we're on the topic of big breaks, you screamed your way into our hearts in Alien Romulus. I mean, we were absolutely obsessed. You see what I did there? Screamed your way into our hearts.
That was good, yeah.
Thank you. After months of promotion, how are you recovering from all of that? Because I know you had to do take after take, junket after junket, talking about all that. Let's reflect for a little bit.
That was probably one of the most stressed out times in my life. I felt like I was sleepwalking every day because I was going from Vancouver filming The Last of Us to Superman in Atlanta to press days in LA to press days in San Diego, back to Ohio to Vancouver. Like the whole year, 9 months out of my year, I was traveling like that. I don't know. I just kind of still am processing it, I guess, because it all kind of feels like a blur. But I was also having the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Come on.
Every place I was at, people were kind.
Yes.
And I think that's the most important part. It would suck otherwise.
Thank you for sharing that. So, and Sophie, speaking of Scream Queens, Yellowjackets, Heretic, The Boogeyman, Maxine, The Exorcist TV series, and now Companion. Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a Scream Queen? Is that?
I know it
that's safe to say?
wasn't on purpose, but I think I feel comfortable in genres, and I love horror movies so much. 28 Days Later was my favorite movie as a kid. Yes. I grew up making zombie movies with my twin sister. So it's in me. And it's fun because you get to really explore every heightened emotion. And it's exhausting. And it's like you leave feeling sick after. I always get sick after shooting a horror movie.
Really?
Because my body finally is like, okay, you can rest.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh God, I was so much energy. But yeah, it's funny that like literally everything I've done.
But that's iconic, though.
It's
I think that's why people love you so much. You're so good at it.
I love horror movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also think you just have like you have very unique features. You have like big eyes, and I just think that's so good for horror. I think it just works
And I
so well.
the lip tremble. I'm like,
Oh my god, I
We did
love
that,
it so
we did
good.
that in Heretic.
It's so good. Oh my god, I'm scared.
So, Rhenzy, I have to shout out your role in Encanto. Okay? Playing Camilo must have been a life-changing experience, especially because you had your own part in We Don't Talk About Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno, no.
We do talk a little bit about it today. Is that song still stuck in your head? And can you talk a little bit about that experience? Because that's absolutely incredible.
That was a wild time because I think if I could really sing, I would do that. Because I love music, and I just feel like don't feel like I'm in that category at all. I feel like I love acting, and I feel like if I've got skills anywhere, it would be leaning more in that direction. And the singing thing has just been so... it feels so out of my wheelhouse or whatever. And then I get the movie, and then I have a conversation with Lynn, who wrote all the music for the movie, and he goes, I wrote you this verse, it's going to be awesome, you're going to love it. And I hear him sing it, and I'm like, this is awesome, I do love it. And then I'm like, oh, but now I have to go do it. And I remember being in the studio doing that song, and the engineer like accidentally like played back my vocals to me by accident. And I was like, oh, I'm going to lose this job is what's going to happen.
No.
Because I heard it, but it's like raw, and it doesn't sound like the way I want it to sound.
that's awful.
And so I was like, oh no, what's happening right now? And then you know, you do a bunch more takes, and then it comes out in the movie, and it sounds way better than it did that day. It's kind of funny, the fact that kind of was such a big success.
I think that movie picked up traction as it went on.
Yeah,
it's just a
'cause
very
it came
interesting
out,
phenomenon
right,
as well.
exactly, because it came out, you're so right, because it came out on Thanksgiving, and it wasn't until it came out on Disney Plus in like December. Like New Year's, Christmas time,
Then it
where
blew up.
it really started to take off.
That's always
And
interesting.
so it was interesting. Like it just found the pocket of audience at the right time, and then it kind of spread from there.
I did a movie called Instant Family. What's interesting is a lot of people saw that it was like a plane movie. So people didn't really watch it much in theaters.
There is that
But then they
niche.
saw it all
Family.
on the plane. I mean, everyone that I speak to who's watched it was like, I saw it on the plane. I'm like, cool. But I think it's also, movies resonate harder on a plane.
They do.
Because you don't have any interruptions. And it's just you, and like, in altitude maybe makes you a bit more
I
emotional.
know. I'm always crying.
I didn't someone told me that the other day, and I was like, I've cried the hardest I've ever cried watching a movie was on a plane by myself. Sat right next to someone too. Like I was doing everything I could to like just keep it to myself, and I couldn't. It was coming out. I forget the name of the movie, but it meant so much to me. John Krasinski directed it, and it's a movie about family, and they kind of lose the matriarch in the family. And I was going through my own loss at the time, and I think that it hit a real special place for me.
First time I cried though watching a movie in theaters was Marley and Me.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Christmas, and I was devastated.
I promised myself I'd never see it again. I cried so much because you see death sometimes on camera. Maybe you get used to it a little bit, but a dog. Oh, I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Spoiler.
But Marley.
We all know.
Since we're on the topic of death scenes, okay? Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. We found a theme between you three.
Oh.
Epic death scenes on camera. How do you mentally prepare for a death scene?
Disassociate.
Disassociate. I can't do it.
I mean, it's just hard with the hair and makeup. I mean, makeup just takes a while, and you're all bloody.
Yeah, it does.
The blood is the worst part.
And then you go home, and you're like, what is my job? What am I doing?
What is this like?
Wet and sticky. That's what. No. Mine didn't involve any blood, thankfully, because it was a cold night out, and when it can be cold and you got all that fake blood on you, it's awful. But mine was like, that was a weird one because we had kind of been leading up the entire series up until to that kind of big moment, and there was just kind of this weird funk on set. Like that day, it was just like everyone was a little bit more, I don't know, morose, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
I knew that we were leading towards that, so in a way I wanted it to be as impactful as possible. It's a weird one because there's sadness, but there's also, I had a weird little excitement about it.
Bittersweet a little bit.
Yeah, because it's like, if you do it right, what it can do. Yeah, so right, you see?
Thought it was...
Look at the way you're smiling.
No,
you get it, yeah.
No, every time I have to do like a really devastating scene or like a really dark one, the DP pointed this out to me. She's like, yes, you're acting devastated and sad, but you can tell that you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's
satisfying.
It's
sort of, it's satisfying.
Because you know that you got a little power in your hand or something. It's something. There's something exciting to it. Yeah. But then you try to forget all that. You try to be as present as you can, but deep down that this is like a big moment.
I thought it was great. I thought you did a phenomenal job.
Oh, thanks.
And I also love that they pulled out to the wide shot as he was doing the deed. Yeah, that was cool. The wide shot after your death and not like going in on your face or like anything felt a bit more impactful than.
That's sweet.
Classic approach.
Yeah.
An Alien Romulus girl. We were rooting for you.
The giving birth scene was harder than the death.
Really?
Yeah. That was probably the harder part. I watched birth videos, like people giving birth, the natural births, and like obviously I didn't see anything crazy, but I did, and like the screams were something that I wanted to nail. And like how labor is normally a really long process, but because the thing that was in me was growing at such a rapid pace, I had to sort of have like a 2x speed labor.
2 times
Two
pain,
times
probably,
speed.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just like everything amplified.
That was the hardest part, though, the screaming, like, and the gripping of my body for that long was hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Screaming on camera is tough.
I want to do another quick rapid fire question. What's maybe a special skill or a secret talent?
I can tap dance.
Really?
I love that. Time step?
Yeah.
Double time step?
Double time step.
Triple time step?
Yes. I'm not. You tapped. I mean, were you a musical theater kid?
Yeah, like, I mean, I can't remember how to do the tap.
I don't remember. I remember Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, Buffalo's so fun.
Okay.
It's nice to do that.
Okay.
There's one
Just imagine my
that's a
feet are
wing.
moving.
There's one called a wing, and it's so silly.
I always wanted to be a tap dancer growing up. I don't know why. If I wasn't doing
pretty
this.
cool.
It's really cool. Thank you, Sophie.
I think it's really hot, too.
Yeah.
And just like pull it out of nowhere. Yeah. Like you're on set, you're just like,
Watch this.
Little razzle dazzle.
And that show business.
Sound guys are like, here she goes again.
You're like,
Oh, the sound guys.
It's not their favorite.
If I have
They
no
don't find
haters,
it.
sound guys are dead.
I have no haters. What about you? Any secret skills, Rhenzy?
I'm good on a game night. Get me out to like a game night, and
What kind of games?
board games. There's like the mafia games. Like get me out to a game night, and we're gonna win.
I can whistle like.
Oh,
But I have
Really?
nails on right now,
have to do it
so
now.
just believe me.
Can we find it anywhere out there if we do a quick search?
On the New York City streets. Just look for the loudest
if you
whistle.
hear it, that she's close.
This is the real deal. All three of you are pros at promotion, junkets all day, interviews all day. What is one question?
I don't know.
The
I
afterlife.
love junkets. I love them.
We're offline. What is a question that maybe no one has asked you on a press tour that maybe you wish you were asked?
Are you okay?
But that's a real good one. Are you okay?
I'm kind of joking. I'm joking.
Are we okay?
Are you okay?
That's funny. You're gonna ask us that?
No. Are you okay? Let me think about it. Yeah, a little bit.
I have a question that I wish people would stop asking.
Oh, yeah.
What are some fun pranks that you pulled on the set?
Yeah.
Why does everyone have to be a prankster? I'm not Ryan Reynolds.
Let's look right to the cam and just like shout out. Just tell people to
So
stop
now
doing
everyone's
that.
gonna ask me that question.
You all have been a part of some amazing franchises. Sophie in the Star Wars universe, obviously Rhenzy the Penguin in the Batman universe, and Isabela Transformers, the Alien universe, Superman. When you are cast in these incredible projects, these franchise films, like, and you're sworn to secrecy, do you secretly tell somebody?
My mom first.
Which
my
is you.
twin. Just like family and like
Yeah.
two close friends.
Yeah.
I can't not. I'm really bad at keeping.
Same.
I'm really good at keeping a secret. So like my family, my mom, my dad, my best friends, my roommates, they had no idea about anything that happens on the show.
Wow.
I never tell them. Not my mom, and that was the hardest one to keep
Wow.
because she's very emotional. So I knew that when the death scene ultimately happens, that she was gonna feel away, and she did feel away.
I quickly have to ask, when the Last of Us 2 trailer dropped, Isabela, what was just that response? Like, you're like, the news is finally out, secret no more, like, this is amazing. What was that experience like?
It's still happening, I guess. I mean, I've been sitting in the editing room, which is something I've never done before. It feels like being in a music studio. You know when you are in a music studio and you like sleep there for 3 days because you just want to get things done.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I wanted to sleep there for 3 days, and I met all the editors and they're amazing, and I love it because they had a gay woman editing it, which I think is really really cool. And I didn't even know, I wouldn't have known that had I not stood there and watched it. So I'm so invested in this. I'm so in love with it and obsessed with it. And Craig Mazin is also very in love with it and obsessed with it. I've never felt so involved and invested.
That's awesome.
But the best part is already happened.
Yeah.
So whatever happens now, whatever, fine.
do it, yeah.
But I'm still I don't know how it can get better, honestly.
Did you play the game?
The second game, I didn't play the first. Still haven't. I might one day.
Yeah, let's play together after this. Like, with some wine, maybe a shot, the twisted tea, as we said. Who knows?
Twisted tea.
I want to switch gears a little bit because you are stars to watch in this day and age where social media is so big. How do you handle social media? Like, do you hate it? Do you read the comments? Do you stick away? Do you just post and like close the app and say bye? What is your response to that?
That's kind of what I do. I feel like I'm pretty open on social media, where I still like to post a lot of art that I'm inspired by and music.
Yeah.
Because it feels like a deep dive. I don't know. I don't want all of it to be just press. I kind of like having my voice on social media, so I'm just trying to keep it that way. I don't want it to ever feel too stale or robotic, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is just my approach.
Right on.
I have a weird relationship with it, I think. It's so weird because I think I want my work to speak for itself, and I want to be a part of great things, and I want that to be what I'm known for, but it's also such a big part of our lives right now. I love movies and TV shows and art and actors and all these things and music, and I want it to reflect that, and then I end up trying to make a post and I think it's stupid and I just delete it and then I don't do anything.
That's the toxic path that I think a lot of people fall down, is like they sort of tricks us into being obsessed with how we're perceived.
Yeah.
We're like overthinking how people look at us, but most of the time they don't give a They don't care about who we are or what we actually represent.
Right.
It's just what we can give them. So I look at it as a hustle. I look at it as like another form of income, because I can't have one primary source of income and only source of income.
Okay.
I need to like make money on the side. So I look at it as like the more I post, the more interactions I get, the more brands will offer me to to basically promote their stuff.
That's good.
That's
Listen,
smart.
I have an immigrant mother. I know the hustle, and I
Hustling.
respect the value of it. So I like influencers. I'm like, I get it. You know, you have to do what you have to do. But I think on what you guys said, like, I think you have a really great social media presence. Like, you're just that edgy, cool girl,
does give off
actor has
cool.
multiple talents, and then also at the same time, your posts don't make it seem like you want to post. But you're like, I guess I'm posting now.
Effortless. Yeah.
I guess I'm posting now, and it's good. It's a good
funny.
attitude.
Cool.
Like that. I feel like that resonates with the youth.
Thank you.
We brought these for you, my friend. I personally love getting sentimental with people just because you guys work so hard, and I just want to share a little something with you. Please keep these photos down if you can. There you go. There you go. Keep these photos down.
Like
Y'all might see my tooth back.
All
My
right.
tooth gap.
Okay, flip them over for me.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Feel free to show them.
Self-love.
They're really cute. Pick them
Oh
up.
my god, you look the same, by the way.
I'll take it.
I changed.
Can I just say, Rhenzy, I almost wore that outfit today, that exact same outfit.
I remember this.
Oh
dress.
my goodness.
If you can give one piece of advice to that person you're looking at, what would that piece of advice be?
Get matching suit pants. I didn't have the same color suit pants as the suit jacket. And I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
So get matching suit pants, dude.
love that.
But look at you now.
Right.
They
Maroon
are matching.
moment?
We live and we learn.
What about you?
I guess trust your instincts and stop caring so much.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've been historically sad, but this was right before things got that way, and I think I would say don't change anything. I think I'm grateful for that dark past. Yeah, don't change.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. In the future, in your amazing career, what do you want to be known for?
I always want to be able to be a part of projects that I can be proud of, that I can sit back and go, man, that's an awesome movie or show or whatever it is. Like, I can be proud of the thing that we put up on screen, and as long as I went into it, you know, it doesn't always turn out the best way. You can go into it with the best intentions and do all the work, and then, and have the right direction, have the right writers, and then sometimes it just doesn't come out the way you thought it might. But as long as you go into it, you know, with the best intentions and kind of having a passion for it, you do your best, and whatever comes out, you know, hopefully you can be proud of that.
Absolutely. That's so good. What about you, Sophie?
I want to make outsiders feel seen. That's kind of my biggest thing. When people have seen Natalie in Yellowjackets and said that was them when they were younger, that's the biggest compliment. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
I think I'm kind of just never want to be pinned down, I guess. I never want to be put in a box. Like, my favorite actors were always doing something completely different than I thought they would, and surprising people. And the last thing I want to be is predictable.
Yeah. What's your most anticipated films or shows to watch?
Last of Us. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
And Superman, okay?
Thanks.
I'm also excited for Superman and The Last of Us. I love that James Gunn. I remember watching Suicide Squad like 3 times in theaters because he killed it. So when I found out he was doing DC stuff and Superman, I was like, this is going to be... I'm really excited to see what you guys were able to pull off on that.
Anything that Neon or A24 puts out.
Real.
You know, movies that I absolutely know that I'm going to watch, I don't watch the trailers for.
Really?
I'll make a point to not... If I know I'm going to see it, I will not watch the trailer so I can go in completely blind.
Some people work like that. The less you know, the better.
Okay.
No, but no, but the Heretic and all A24 movies, I feel like they make their trailers really well.
They do.
Yes.
They
They
do.
do.
They don't give away
Absolutely.
too much. Like the Iron Claw trailer was amazing.
They get it.
Sobbing.
They get it. They get it. Like you just want to get excited. But
Yeah, you want to be
It's
surprised in the
not
theater.
giving
You want to
away
go
too
and
much.
see something new. You want to be... That's what... some of my friends will ask me whenever I go to like show them movies. I'm like, okay, sit down. Like, we're going to watch this movie. You got to see it. They're like, what's it about? I'm like, dude... I'm telling you it's good. Don't ask me no more questions. Let's watch the movie.
Period.
And but I'm a little bit too much, to be honest. Sometimes I'm a little too.
No.
Do you stare at them while they watch the
I
movie?
try not to because I know it ruins their experience. but I will get up to
I
get
wish I
water,
could. I wish
and then
I
I'll just
could.
from behind the couch I'll be looking at them.
Amazing, amazing. Wow, what an incredible conversation. Thank you for hanging with IMDb today. Absolutely. Well, you can watch all of these stars to watch and all of their most anticipated titles of 2025 on IMDb. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe IMDb on all of our social channels. And until next time.
Hey guys,
That is where the music kicks in.